Okay, my name is Tim Gannon. I have a company called Big Work Digital. We started out as a video production company, then morphed into a website branding company, which we still do, but I've gone back to my roots because I find the web dev marketplace is very crowded. So I revamped my website, focusing on exclusively, not exclusively, but focusing on video production. And but we're available to do branding and logos. We just did a couple of logos. We're doing a 4 explainer videos for this company. I'm doing a video for a fitness center. We got another video coming up for Hudson News. So that's what I'm doing, but I'm most specific, and you can guide me if I'm getting way off track here, Mr. Bendit.
No, you're right on track.
But so I've decided that I'm going to target the manufacturing space, and that is actually beginning to bear some fruit, and the food space. In fact, I'm featured in this month's issue of Total Food Service magazine, which has like 150 digital and print subscribers. They did a feature article on how to use who I am and what I do and how to use video with relation to your food company or your restaurant. And the interesting thing about that job is it came about strictly from barter. Like I was helping out a friend. I was cutting his, he does these really cool hour-long videos, hour-long webinars related to the food industry. And he said, dude, can you just cut down some, give me an Instagram, minute-long Instagram and a 90-second teaser out of these really cool food programs that he does. I mean, Rocco DiSpirito's been on it, David Burke, a couple of celebrity chefs. It's pretty fascinating. So I did it, and I said, but dude, I gotta get something in return if this is a barter system. And he said, well, I'm going to connect you with food agencies, ad agencies for food companies, and you're going to get an ad and a feature article in Total Food Service magazine. Came out today, and I don't know if you've ever had anybody write an article about you. This is the first time. I come off way more interesting than I really am. And my wife goes, what? You're not that cool. Anyway, so that's what I'm targeting. I've been a passive marketer almost my entire career up until about 5 years ago. I just don't like it. Don't like doing it. Don't want to do it. But I've been active. Now I'm actually, rather than a shotgun approach, I'm physically and mentally and focused on the food industry and manufacturing, because I can do some really cool videos for the manufacturing space. And I'm actively involved in that, trying to do that. So with that in mind, I'm just going to show you just a little sample of what we do. It's short. So
make sure you you should be able to make sure you also share your audio. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you should be able to share.
I will do that. Sorry, let me get out of this. I got multiple screens up. I'm trying to figure this out. All right, share screen, share sound, share. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong video.
Looks like a fun video though. I'd love to.
Yeah, I put a hologram.
Is that your Halloween video?
Yeah, I projected a hologram in my windows in my house.
I knew there was one thing I forgot to do last night. That was it.
The hologram, yeah.
So this is some of you may have seen this. This is the most recent sizzle reel I'm cutting right now that's just related to the food industry. But here's the most recent sizzle reel. So if you know anybody that has a half a billion to $2 billion manufacturing company, I would love to meet them.
$500 million to $2 billion.
That seems to be, that's been my sweet spot for the last few years. I can't explain why, but we're doing other stuff, like the stuff we're doing for the fitness center. We're making him and his brand and his fitness center look a lot better than they really truly are. And I don't want to sound, I hope that didn't make me sound like a jerk, but that's kind of my job. Make people look better than they are. That's kind of like the guy who wrote that the one who wrote the article about me made me look better than I am. So that's what I do.
I think both of those are subjective, how good you are and how good you appear, both subjective. So, yeah, it's hard to say that, you're better than, or you appear better than you are. It's all in the mind's eye of the recipient. By the way, have you met Jeff Linder, who's Fresh Branding Group? He's a ad creative, TV ad creative. Done some interesting stuff.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's in the group. I think you and he should connect. And you can look him up. It's called Fresh Branding. I always get it confused. I think it's Linder, Linder. Could be Linder. No, I think it's Linder, Linder.
Michael, I was thinking for Tim, I was thinking to introduce John. How do you say his last name? Stammel or Stammel?
Stammel.
Stammel.
Yeah.
He'd be a good connection for you, Tim.
Awesome.
John Stammel has a company called Oomiji, Oomiji.
But he does a lot of work in food and beverage and a lot of work in luxury brands.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, we had this client for a long time till they were bought by a bigger company, and they brought in their own agency where we did everything from their websites to their logo refresh to 5 TV commercials, 10 radio spots. I mean, we even designed and wrapped a bus for them.
Wow.
And that was really fun. And to go see it in Owensboro, Kentucky, as they drove down the street, was really cool. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff related to the food industry. Like we did this commercial where that I wrote. This was called The Ultimate Sandwich, about a father and son making a grilled cheese sandwich, and I totally ripped off Chef when he made the grilled cheese sandwich in Chef. That movie, it's a great scene. Love that scene. I tear up every time I see it. But we went through 225 grilled cheese sandwiches in various stages to make that commercial, just to give you an idea of the scope of it. It was amazing.
Isn't there a whole you need a food designer, right? To be part of that.
A food stylist, and her big selling point was she created the Dairy Queen chocolate fountain that was in commercials like 15 years ago. That's her like signature. Everybody knows her for that. Oh, she's the one who created that chocolate fountain and Dairy Queen. You probably haven't seen it, but I have seen it, and that's her claim to fame. That's
her signature. So are food stylists a good intro for you, or is it the other way around?
It's really the other way around.
Okay. Yeah, you bring them in, not the other way around. Okay.
Yeah. Tim, isn't there a part of the industry in food videos that you have to create food that looks good but is not actually food? You have to do a lot of workarounds to make it, because it'll melt under the lights or things like that you've got to do.
Yeah, let me put it. Every sandwich that she made, you couldn't eat it because it was made with cheese and made with bread and made with the client's ham, but it was sprayed with stuff. It was doctored with stuff. It was and some cheeses we wanted it to melt faster. So she had different, they looked the same, but some cheeses melted faster. It was like really,
Right.
it was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's videos on YouTube of food stylists putting all sorts of stuff like,
It's
shaving cream and you paint it, or, shaving cream that's colored and things that you can't.
In this case, the characters had to eat it. They had to take a bite at the end.
Ooh, okay.
So
much for shaving cream.
yeah.
You have to find edible shaving creams.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Tim? Thank you, Tim. That was enlightening. I can go to gallery mode again if you want to open up a discussion. Any Q&A for Tim?
Yeah, I may possibly to be able to make some connections. Tim, I'm a speaker regularly at an event called Cater Source. I don't know if you would work with large caterers.
Yeah,
companies.
Absolutely, we can do that. Yeah.
All right. They do an annual show every year. The next one is in Orlando in March. I'm speaking there. I know the organizers very well, and I could chat with them. I don't know if that may mean that you may have to speak on this subject matter, and then that's a way to get in and build a case for yourself. But they do attract some of the biggest, largest caterers and top line chefs, kind of like in that space year after year. So I could see if I can make a connection for you there. I know the person that coordinates that really well.
Are you in the food space?
No, I'm not specifically in the food space, but I'm Cater Source is part of a company called Informa. They're the largest B2B media company in the world, especially in trade show. I speak at a number of their industry events. I cater more to the business influence and the marketing side of that across different industries. So I'm agnostic to an industry.
I got you.
Chris is a big speaker, and he'll tell you more about exactly what he does in a few moments. Any other questions for Mr. Gannon? All right. Thank you so much. It came out to like 12 and a half minutes. So
sorry, I didn't have one. I was trying to fumble with my thing here.
Go for it.
So Timothy, you mentioned that you work with a lot of companies in the food industry. What are they, like manufacturers, farmers? Like what area of the food industry?
So this is a company that had 7 brands of ham, and they made hams and hot dogs and sausages. So one company owns 7 brands, and we across the board did all of their websites, including the corporate website, commercials for the various brands. We've got stuff that's still running in Titan Stadium. We did their menu boards. We did the University of Kentucky has stuff that runs in there for their hot dog brands. That's what we did. That's what we did for them. It was a 5-6 year relationship that I prayed to God would never end, but of course it does.
Are any of them e-com? Do any of them sell online?
That's a good question, and the answer to that is no. They have one ham. It's a quarter sized ham, so it's this big. It's the biggest selling natural quarter ham in the country.
Cool. Yeah. I'd like to have a conversation with you at some point
about them.
About a bunch of different stuff. I reached out on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay, cool.
Great. Also Scott Lang has a client, I believe. Scott, he has a client in the Italian food space, I think, that's importing, or maybe it's a group of Italian food manufacturers that are importing to the US.
I know Scott. Okay. Scott.
Yeah, ping him about that.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we had a couple more people join. Jason Cement, Joan Abraham. So I'm going to put in the chat the order more or less in which people showed up. And by the way, and that's the order in which we'll do our presentations today, which I think should be about 2 minutes, because we do have a pretty full house. We got 16. Yeah, it's going to be tight. So we'll keep it to 2 minutes. When you hear, and when I put this up to the screen, you'll hear it as well. That means it's time. If your name is not up there, let me know. That means I somehow, while I was listening, didn't capture your name. The idea, of course, is to let people know what you do, how you can help, what makes you stand out. Okay, because there's 16, 17 people on this call. If you can get their attention by identifying what your real unique selling proposition is and how you can help out. And of course, if you're looking for anything in particular, looking to meet food manufacturers or whatever, include that as well. So if everybody would go on mute, that'll give the speaker the full screen. We'll start with Bryce, then Lynn, and then Wendy.
Cool.
Go
Thanks,
for it.
everybody. Bryce Wade. So we used to be a SEO company. We've kind of moved away from that a little bit. Do mainly business consulting and large scale marketing plans now. And one of the main things that we're doing right now is we're raising a whole bunch of money for charities. We call this reverse fundraising. So how it works is really simple. Instead of holding your hand out and saying, "Hey, we've got some cool stuff that we do," give us some money and you get some fuzzy feelings and a tax rebate. We do what's called reverse fundraising by going to donors and saying, "Hey, we'd like to do something for you, save you some money on some of your expenses. Please donate some of what we save you to your favorite charity." And the way that we do this is through payment processing. We have a vendor that we work with that is essentially with Costco, so they can bid on any company basically as if they're a Costco. So I can pretty much guarantee that I can save you some money on your own expenses. But if you would like to have a partnership with this sort of structure, our partner is looking for marketing agencies specifically. So if this is of interest to you, let me know. Happy to talk more about it and raise some money for charities. In addition to that, a personal thing of mine, and this is kind of a request or an option for anybody that's listening. I'm connected to a company that sells precious metals at wholesale instead of retail. So typically, if you're interested in precious metals and physical bullion, there's about 20% surcharge that you pay on top of spot. And my contact can do it for $7. So if you know anybody that's really interested in precious metals, gold, silver, palladium, stuff like that, yeah, give me a shout. Thanks.
What's the minimum buy on that?
5,000.
$5,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Not 5,000 bricks. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just a cool 20 mil, bro.
Okay. Lynn Donaldson, you are up.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lynn Donaldson. My company is Connect A Strategic Solutions Group, and we help companies in the mid-size pharma range or mid-size medical devices companies to get their valuable products to the market so that people like you and I can use them. So, for example, one of the drugs we worked with was the patient, every morning they get up and their skin literally sloughs off. Now, that's painful and debilitating. But the product we worked with and helped get to launch to market stopped that. So that patient has a better chance of life. And that's why I love what I do. We mainly work with medical affairs directors within pharmaceutical or medical devices companies. And my ask is, if you know any medical affairs directors in any of the life science field, please put them on to me. What makes us a little bit different is we don't do a McKinsey. We don't dump and run. We don't go in and say, here's your strategy, get on with it. We help them develop the strategy, and then we help them implement that strategy. And in addition, I provide executive coaching for the team leaders and the launch team to keep them at a high peak performance level while they're going through a very stressful launch process. And we also provide contingency planning or scenario planning, so the what ifs. So we provide the surface from the stress, reducing their stress. We also provide the reducing the stress from scenario planning. We make sure that team are at a high peak performance level, no matter what hits them. So we do product launch for pharmaceutical and medical devices companies, and our consultants have all launched products in their own right in this field. Thank you.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Have you ever heard of Triangle Manufacturing Company?
No.
They're manufactured. This is somebody that I'm approaching. They're in Jersey, and
Okay.
they make medical devices. They manufacture them. Okay, just wondering if you heard of them. But we should
Yeah,
connect.
check them out. If they're a good fit,
Yeah.
then you'll connect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wendy Marks, you're up. Wendy, are you there? Let's move on. Mark Iorio.
Thanks, Michael. Christopher Salem, good to see you, my friend. How's it going?
Hey, Mark, it's great to see you.
Good to see
Love
you.
being on your show. Hope all is well.
All is well. Thanks. Good to see you. So a couple things. One is my partner Alcini and I have developed over the last decade something that Keith Reynolds has experienced firsthand. It's called BCAT. It's a brand and culture alignment toolkit process that is pretty rich in its form. It helps organizations rally around a purpose or their brand promise or their North Star through a series of surveys that we have developed over the years. It's an amazing process to go through, and helping the culture inside the organization align with its purpose. One of the things that's been difficult, honestly, for us over the years is selling the BCAT model because it takes a long time to implement. So about 8 months ago, we brought on another partner by the name of Lisa Manioki, and the three of us, Al, Lisa, and I, recently launched something called Pro Fit for Teams. So it's basically a workshop, a half-day workshop where we have taken and incorporated the discipline of BCAT and something that she calls presence intelligence, and form this ability to have everyone in the organization, up to about 10 or 12 people, attend our workshop for about $8,000 and give them the tools to work together in a more collaborative way, breaking down silos and the passive aggressive behavior and all the things that you see in organizations that are really misfit or misaligned. So the two processes that we're really pushing hard are BCAT, which is a little more extensive, and now recently launched Pro Fit for Teams. Thanks, Michael. Which is pro-fit4teams.com. That's it.
In the chat, and just a reminder for everyone: if you put your LinkedIn in the chat, I'll remind folks to download it at the end.
Cool.
Okay. Let's see. John Parsons. I'm going to come back to Wendy at the end. John Parsons, you're up.
Off mute. Thanks, Michael. First, I wanted to comment on Tim's remark that you always sound better when somebody does a write-up. When we describe what we do and we show people our sizzle reel, people who don't know how the sausage is made think this level of who we are and what we do, or when I do writing. But it's your own bias on. One of my designers hates his own work when he's finished. He says, "I've looked at it too long," and I get it. You never trust your own judgment of your own stuff. Is my advice. Anyway, we're a marketing content company. We serve other agencies. We're focused mainly on small to medium business, but we've done a whole range of stuff. Our big projects these days are trying to get video that is interactive without having to subscribe to a platform. We've done interactive video with subscription-based platforms where they provide the tools for branching and for hotspots and the things that you can do inside a video. But we're working on a way, and our current favorite candidate for what to call this thing is VAT cards. They're cards, video presentations that branch into other user choices for either calls to action or other parts of the client's offering. And it's fat. It's a richer experience than just watching a video. But that's a work in progress. And Michael, that's what I want to do a showcase on when we're ready. We've got some prototypes working, like for a bike shop, a fictitious bike shop that offers more than one kind of bike. So you choose your adventure. What kind of bikes do you want? And you see the content that relates to that, or the photo gallery. and what have you. So we're trying to work on interactivity for video, as well as just ordinary video, if there is such a thing. Sorry, Tim.
There's such a thing as ordinary video, I believe.
Oh yeah, well, look, it's called YouTube.
Yeah, you could find a lot of it.
A lot of it.
All right.
Anyway, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, would love to have you do that as a presentation. I was just about to ask you. I'd love to see it. So
you will, but it's not. Our designers are furiously at work trying to get some working prototypes ready for people to see.
Mark Harry.
Yeah. Hey, Mark Harry with SEO Game. And I'm just passionate about what I do at SEO Game. I've been helping digital marketing owners for the last 17 years out of 26 years in business. It took me a while to figure out what I really got passionate about. And what brought me joy is to meet with digital marketing and SEO companies. I'm known best for offering 30-day trials on every website that deserves to be number one. And I work best with digital marketing owners as a white label partner. I just basically make my money by doing these trials, and here's how I do it. I optimize top keywords on the first page of Google for every website. Then I get paid if the job's done. Simple as that. I break up this commercial now just to tell you the most important relationship that I have is with my family. And back to my commercial. I work in the industry of organic rankings at Google. The best way for you to learn about me is to connect on LinkedIn. I think I left that in the chat. And what I'd like to offer you is the opportunity to check out my profile on the TRN network. You can just search SEO. You'll find a profile. I'll talk about some ways that we can work together. Last thing I always want you to know is that I'm able to, since I am performance-based marketer, I have surrounded myself with other performance-based industry leaders, and I'd love to help you meet your goals, maybe finding a performance-based web developer, lead generator, paid advertising specialist. I've surrounded myself with these people, and I could help you out if you need somebody with that same model. Anyway, that's about it.
Thank you so much. Good timing, right down to the last 7 seconds. So wonderful. Let's see. It was Mark, Christopher Salem, then Ron Hubsher, then Keith Reynolds. Chris, you're up.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. I first want to thank Mark Harry for inviting me and Mike connecting you with you, Michael. Pleasure to be here, and I know Mark Ario too. So such a pleasure to be here. I'm a business executive coach and a brand influence strategist. Even though I do kind of similar work where I develop teams and workplace cultures, I take that concept to CEOs, business owners, and how they individually and their corporations can really begin to really showcase themselves for more impact in why they do what they do in their industry. So I focus on helping bringing people together with high engagement to now reflect inward, that when they have a strong engagement from within and really begin to shift towards interdependency versus codependency, how that reflects in their customer or patient experience outward in their marketing, in their PR, and then of course their product and service experience. So basically I'm getting involved in helping them from the strategy, from the foundation to where we can start that experience internally at the team level, and then bring that right to the customer where it's part of an entire experience. That leads to a higher retention, not only internally, but also with customers, and then a high rate or increase in percentage in referrals. I work primarily with any businesses from a CPA firm, maybe as little as 10 people, up to companies of 100 million or less. And when I work with Fortune 500, it's usually at the business unit level. And I do professional speaking, and that is one of the platforms I teach CEOs and others that are going to create more influence, how to leverage those platforms, including podcasts, radio shows, books, and how to create more influence and more impact in why they do what they do to grow their brand and business.
Thank you. That was good timing. And I did mention, I think there's a guy who I mentioned on our call who does helps match executives with speaking opportunities. Did I mention him? Steve. I have to. Okay, I'll look it up again.
Sure.
Okay, who is next? That would be Ron Hubsher.
Oh, good. Hey, thanks. Great to see everybody. I'm always grateful to be on this call. I wonder how many people can relate to this experience. Have you ever woken up 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, just really aggravated and just tossing and turning? You're working on a deal that you want to win, and a client pushed back and wants a really big discount, and you're like, I want to win the deal, but I want to get paid what I'm worth, and you don't know what to do. Do you take the deal? Do you take the discount? You push back hard, take some half measure, and you're really irritated because you want to get paid what you're worth. Well, we make sure that never happens to you again. I'm Ron Hubsher. I run a company called the Sales Optimization Group. We specialize in sales and sales negotiation training, and delighted to help anybody here if they have any sales or negotiation questions.
So I have a question for you. You shifted from more sales training to focus on negotiation. Why did you do that?
So I do both. So when we work with big companies, it's really strictly negotiation. When we work with smaller companies, it goes the gambit. So I just shifted a little bit on my tone. But like if anybody has a lead into a large business-to-business corporation like Google, DocuSign, anyone like that, we're all about that. That's how we really make our big money. But if we work with smaller companies.
Okay, so
if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Bigger companies, sales negotiation, smaller companies, sales training across the board.
Yeah, you got it.
Easy
and if
enough.
anybody needs any help on the TRN, happy to help anybody.
And Ron is a long, we've known each other for 30 some odd years.
Yeah, 31 at least. No, it's 33 at least since 1989, right?
I think it was 1989. There you go. Thank you so much for joining us. Next today, Keith Reynolds, then David Libby, then Michael Filato. Keith, you're up.
All right. Thank you very much. I remembered to turn myself off mute this time before I started talking. I'm Keith Reynolds. My company is Publio. We are repositioning right now based on the work that we've been doing, kind of follow your customers as a fractional CMO. I've done that partially, but it's been more of a focus as the years progressed. Our specialty is in SEO Content Hub strategy, which is a competitive game of making your website a resource for customers and differentiating yourself from your customers using SEO and other market research and making your online presence more valuable. I also work with executive teams on roundtables, podcasts, and digital events. A bit about that in a moment. And just helping you get value out of your marketing automation and CRM by applying those technologies and tools to your marketing efforts. My contact information is in the chat here. And the one thing that I'd add is, speaking of roundtables, we're featuring Michael on Thursday, who's going to be talking about return on an investment from content and events and your marketing efforts. Just real quickly, I've partnered with a event platform called Incaptive on a series called Incaptify, where they're using my book on content strategy to guide the sections of this webinar series or roundtable series. And we've been featuring different people who have a input on or perspective on the 7 buckets of our content strategy: North Star, editorial strategy, events and community, virtual and hybrid events, technology, taking the stress out of sales by training your sales force about your content. And then there's Michael, who's going to be our 7th one on the ROI of content strategy. So Michael, we're looking forward to it. And I did put, I think I put in the chat, nope, I will, a link to register. We'd love to have you Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Come and support Michael and join the discussion on how to get ROI from your content. Thanks.
Thank you. I did say that I was going to mention it, but I'm glad you did, because I might have forgotten to mention it. But glad to be on the panel and to close it out with the 7th of 7 uh, uh, advance on the series. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Let's
no
see.
doubt. Thank you.
Who's next? David Libby, then Michael Filato. David, you're up.
Well, I was going to be the CEO of Twitter, but that didn't work out. I mean, who doesn't want to get on Twitter every day and just joke around and dress up in Halloween costumes? Anyways, I'm David Libby, and I I do what John Parsons does. John's slightly more famous. Mr. Siebold Group, I know the Siebold Group. What we do is we also work with marketing and public relations agencies, and we write blog posts and articles and white papers and sales enablement, all sorts of anything written. So if you have a marketing agency or a public relations agency or a B2B technology company that needs a writer, if John's coffer is full, reach out to us. There's a lot of folks out there like us. We have been focusing a lot lately on legal technology companies, on artificial intelligence companies, cybersecurity. So a lot of interesting stuff happening out there. Thanks so much, Michael, for hosting this. And yes, I'm going to go to your event on Thursday, Keith. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Wonderful. So tell us, you shifted. It sounds like you were more of a PR agency for tech startups looking to exit. There's been a shift.
Yeah, just 30 years of public relations. I think I've really had a good time with that, and the content seems to be king and queen these days. And without it, there's nothing to PR. So we spend more time helping these companies, not just creating content for the sake of creating content, which they've been doing during the COVID, but actually creating really thoughtful, opinionated, market-driving content. A lot of it, to your point, which has been helping them either reposition or get positioned to get acquired, IPO not so much, but the M&A, folks like to get an 8x return on their company. So the M&As are working out quite well for a lot of the companies that we've worked for.
Very cool. And now that Google is apparently their engine is more focused on content and what the value that people get out of it. I don't know if that plays into your to your benefit, but
no, not at all. Not at all. There's really no SEO value, unfortunately, in what we're doing. It's more if we're really trying to focus on those like Mark Benioff CEOs that are saying no more software, like these big, opinionated executives that really have something to say that are going to like shift a market, disrupt a market, versus writing content for software where SEO is important and they're trying to get all these leads.
Right. Cool. Thank you. Michael Filato.
Hi, I'm Michael Filato here in Orlando, Florida. I do lead gen. I basically do automation. I'm an automation expert. I do email, LinkedIn, roundtables, and also help companies set up an instance on HubSpot. So that's what I do. There's a limitation of doing this if you're using HubSpot or using other platforms where you maybe send 500 or 250 emails a day. I have the capacity to hit 20 to 30,000 emails, have over 250 million people in the database, and over 700 million people in LinkedIn. So I have a really repeatable and scalable way to send out leads, get about 10 to 30 meetings a month. I charge about $5K per month per client. I pay a 10% commission referral on that. I'm up to about 80,000 MRR a month now for my business. So it's going really well and helping a lot of different other companies just do a repeatable and scalable approach and focusing on selling and not hunting all day. It's monotonous. So if you have a way to do it where you can do repeatable and scalable and you not have to pay $1 or 50 cents to Zoom, I'm a way better choice than that, or hiring a kid that's an SDR. That's it.
Thank you so much, Michael. And Michael's background inspired me to create my own. So I think it was a Fiverr kind of thing.
Create your own
cool.
what?
My own background. Am I using it now? I don't even know if I'm using it. I'm not using it. All right.
You might want to have it on.
Like you put much effort into it.
Yeah, I know. I got to change that.
Get your $5 back.
Yeah. All right. Here it comes. There we go.
There we go.
Hey.
Okay. Michael Filato. Then next is Ken Simon, then Rajiv.
That couch looks very comfortable, Mike.
Very comfortable.
Maybe we could sit in it next time and have the meeting there.
Absolutely.
I'm Ken Simon, KBS Marketing. I work with small and mid-sized companies, helping them develop strategies to grow their business. Help them with their campaigns, their content, understanding who their customers are and what their needs are. I usually work with technology companies, service companies, financial service companies, fintech, insurtech, and I don't know, some other types of companies too. Right now, for example, I'm working with a manufacturer that
I found this on the web.
My excuse me, my watch is talking to me. I'm working with this manufacturer who makes this device that uses artificial intelligence that you plug into your backyard. You hook it up to, you plug it in and you hook it up to your Wi-Fi in your backyard. It'll tell you what birds are in your backyard by the chirps and peeps it makes. And they just created this device this past year, and they're out of Florida. And I am helping them right now create awareness for them in the marketplace and sell their device. And what does that mean? We found people who, well, first, number one, SEO, and then we're doing online campaigns to create awareness and increase their SEO. But we also are looking for people who could write reviews on their device. And so we just last month got a review written in Wired magazine. I usually don't handle public relations, but this was sort of like a one-off. We got a review written in Wired magazine where they got a 9 out of 10. We got another review by a birdist, or someone who writes very heavily in the birding industry. They also drove sales. So we're doing this to drive sales and create awareness. And looking for people who I usually work with small and mid-sized companies that are looking, that say they need help introducing a new product to the marketplace, or they need help with their marketing, their campaigns aren't working.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rajiv, then Jason, then Joan. Rajiv.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. So I do reputation management. Think of reputation management as yin and yang. The yin is promote the good, the yang is eliminate the bad. In promote the good, we're creating bespoke content and positioning people as thought leaders. So we're essentially ghostwriting content for them, whether it's long form, short form, or video content. And in addition to that, we're also helping these clients be United Nations speakers, since the United Nations is one of the largest platforms on the planet, and it elevates you to global status, in a blink of an eye. So that's on the reputation, or rather thought leadership side. And on the flip side of that, we delete, erase, eradicate, eliminate, exterminate crap from the internet, namely bad press, scandal, misinformation, and bad reviews. That's what we do. A lot of our business comes from agency partners that white label us for what we do. And I love that, because it means we get paid, you get paid, the client gets taken care of, and we're all happy. So I'm looking to reach out to agency partners to have conversations about this. And a small shout out to our new SaaS tool called Lily Launch Tools, which Lynn Donaldson is my partner in crime on for many, many moons. We've been working on this, toiling on this, burning the midnight oil, so to speak. And part of our launch process is doing a monthly webinar series wherein we showcase a company each time who is using the tool to demonstrate how easy it is to use. And we're looking for talks with marketing agencies to partner with us, since this tool helps marketing agencies monitor their rollout for their clients. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll put the link in the chat. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. Yeah, we're cutting it tight. So Jason Cement, you're up.
Cool. So two things. I hired a coach and he's helping me to sort of distill my message. And I came up something with him, which is I've got that B number one. And he said, use this concept to become the most obvious choice for your prospects. That's what we do for our clients. So it's not just about being number one on Google, for example, or interrupting people so they see your brand on a Facebook ad, but it's in alignment with the messaging and the whole package, that when someone is looking at our clients, they're like, there isn't a better choice. Like that's, so it's not just the mechanical thing of ranking. So I run Get Visible. We build websites. We deal with a lot of service providers, whether it's healthcare, like a doctor or a lawyer, businesses, even as large or charitable institutions, even as large as 9-figure institutions where we're doing their remarketing management. But this group, most of all, is the e-commerce side of things. I also work in a e-commerce platform called Adricom. It stands for the American Dream Company. So it competes with Shopify and Magento. It's a different business model. So it's not a do-it-yourself system. It's more like, I don't want to deal with e-commerce, but I have e-commerce. So you offload the entire process. So our system enables us to deliver solutions at maybe a quarter of a Shopify or Magento type of situation, but then you get the corollary marketing. So the results are significantly greater than doing it on your own, where you have to deal with knowledge transfer when people come on board and quit. And then you got to figure out how to get your rankings and manage your store, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I got. And thanks for being here, for me being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us all the way from LA. You have to come a long way. All right. That was Joan Abraham. You're up. Joni, can you hear us? You're on mute.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I started last week introducing myself with a little bit of my history because I'm in a very unique niche, and I'm fascinated with the backgrounds of lots of you guys who I would love to contact and bounce my ideas off of you personally. All of you who are in content creation and SEO marketing, we create content that's all original. And I'm a little disruptive in the advertising industry because I don't come from trained advertising. I come from fashion marketing. And all of our content is designed to be branded content. So it makes the product, it gives a personality and a character to the product. We write 15 to 20-second stories or 30-second stories that are delivered daily. And what we do is we tell stories with bubbles and story content, and there are no characters, and the only visual is the product itself. And we use, I have an artist who manipulates the product, and you don't see what it is completely until the 30 seconds is up. Right at the very end, it all comes together, and then we have the website address. So although it's totally focused on the entertainment, we never talk about the product. You see the product, and it's the actual showcase of the visual of the storyline. And there's a link directly to the product page on the website. So it's a very powerful selling tool, although we don't sell. And the difference between what we do in advertising is our cost is very low. We can produce 10 for $12,000. We're selling them in batches of 10. And they're very sophisticated forms of entertainment. I'd love to talk to you content guys and see how you respond to our original content.
Definitely, and put that link in the chat along with your own LinkedIn.
I did. I didn't put my LinkedIn, but I put my website address, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, style branding.
Put your LinkedIn in there as well. Wendy, are you with us? Can you Wendy hasn't been on. Her video's been off, so maybe she's not with us. In that case, I will go. We only have 2 minutes left. I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay. So my name is Michael Bendit, and my company is called Software Development Resources. I think I'm the only person in the group today that does software, but I don't do software myself. I sell on behalf of about a dozen teams that build websites, mobile applications, and e-commerce sites. as you can imagine, that's very complex. There's a lot of detail, a lot of knowledge that's required to build these sites and build these applications. And that's why I have 12 teams. So if you're not, terribly knowledgeable about what's the right platform or who do I go to, and you don't have those contacts, that's why people come to me. I've been in the tech software world for pretty much my entire career, doing consulting, sales, marketing, and now for the past 11 years, 10 years or so, been representing software development teams. So good clients for me, or good contacts for me, tend to be digital agencies that need extra support. They may even have a couple of programmers on staff, but oftentimes those programmers are just booked to the gills, and they don't have any bandwidth to take on more work. Or the programmers are not familiar with the platform that the client has. And so it doesn't make sense to risk trying to build something on a platform you're not familiar with. People reach out to me and say, Michael, do you know anybody do you have a team that has experience with, Adobe Experience Manager or Expression Engine or Magento? You may not be familiar with these different terms, but they are different platforms for marketing and or e-commerce. So that's it. We are at the top of the hour. Really appreciate all of you joining. I would love to, if you could join the event on Thursday. Now's a great time to click on the chat button, open that chat window, and then on the right where those three dots are, that's a menu or the more menu. The first item is save chat. Now would be a good time to do that. You'll collect all of the information that people have put into the chats, including their LinkedIn. And the whole purpose of this is to meet some people that you might want to connect with in greater depth offline or off this platform, and meet for a half hour or so to really learn what they do. So thank you all for coming. And thank you to our guests for joining us as well. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye, guys.
Terrific meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Take care.
Yep.